Good morning and happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday morning, y'all, and I hope everyone had a good Monday. Monday was good. It was really, really busy on Monday, but that's right. It's Tuesday morning. We are here in our fun and entertaining space of doing embroidery. We're going to do embroidery. Good morning, Tired Mom. Good morning, Deidre. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, Irie. Good morning. Good morning, Tammy. How are you? How are you? Thanks for joining over here on YT, y'all. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you joining on YT. So I had to wear my sweatshirt today, y'all. I had to wear my sweatshirt. Really liking. Good morning, Miss Carrie. Good morning. Thanks for joining. Good morning. Good morning, y'all. How's everybody doing? Coffee, y'all. Get your coffee out. We need some coffee. It's cold this morning. I accidentally hit the timer on my heater last night and it went off, and I got up this morning. It was like lower 60s in the camper this morning. It's a little chilly. It's just a little bit chilly. So, but anyways, we're gonna get going here. And appreciate y'all joining. Appreciate you joining over here on YT. We are gonna have some fun this morning. Yeah, Tammy, you're on both platforms here, Miss Tammy. I see that. Ira, you're on both also. So thank y'all. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Let me unmirror you guys over here on. No, I don't want you helping me out. Thank you, though. There we go. There we go. That's better. Lots of better. So this morning, what are we working on this morning? We are working on Mugrugs. Y'all want to do, good morning, Karen. Good morning, Bonnie. Good morning, Bessie. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Like I said, warming up, trying to warm up here, y'all. Trying to warm up. So Mugrug, yes, Mugrug Day. Today is Mugrug Day, y'all. So this is a bigger Mugrug I made. So depending on how much time, we may do a big one. So I'm actually, so just so you guys know, so I think I had told y'all that I'm working with a company. They wanted me to collaborate with them, and they're digitizers. So I put them to the test. I sent them this image. This one or another one. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I forgot to swap that one out. Thank you for this snail. He is cute. He is cute. Thank you very much. Good morning, Miss Donna. Good morning. So anyway, so I sent them one of these designs. I can't remember exactly which one it was. So they are actually working on digitizing this design, and we're going to stitch it out and see how it works. So I looked at some of their other stuff, and looks pretty good. So once we get that in, I'll probably run a test embroidery myself, and then we'll do one on live and see what we can do. But like I said, they also said that they are going to offer y'all a 50% off on your first digitation. So why not if they're good at it? And their prices are pretty good too. So just as an FYI. But anyway, back to what we're doing today. We are doing Mugrugs today, y'all. We are doing Mugrugs. Let me see. Do I have any? I think I've given all my Mugrugs away, y'all. I think I've given them all away. I have one that I use quite often. I use a little bitty one. The little pig. My machine is 4x4. Awesome. 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 You can still do Mugrugs in the 4x4 because see this little guy? Look how, so I'm going to show you the difference. So this one is a bigger one, but see the difference? You can still do a Mugrug in your 4x4 hoop. So good morning, Deb. I can see you better on TV. It's not very good on the, I wonder if it's because, let's see. Let's see. I wonder if I should turn that off. Turn it off? No, that makes it worse, doesn't it? That makes it worse. Wonder why it's, let's go this way. It's like dark. Dark, dark, dark. I don't know how to fix it. You didn't like the sound quality. I need to work on that. I need to work on that. It's probably echoing, isn't it? It's probably echoing. I didn't know. I don't know. We won't worry about that today. I'll worry about that tomorrow. So, a little, yes. Okay. Well, I'll work on that and see if we can get it fixed. I'll work on it and get it fixed. Let me see the mic. That one's muted. Zoom, edit. Let's see if we can do. I don't think it'll let me do change what I'm using. Yeah, it won't let me. I was gonna say I was gonna change the mic, but it won't let me change the mic. So. Anyways, we won't worry about it. I'll work on it later. So, good morning, Miss Lisa. Good morning. Good morning. So, you sound very clear on my Wi-Fi. Okay. All right. Good morning, Pearl. Good morning, Pearl. So, I guess it all depends. It all depends. So, we'll see how that works. Okay. I need my text. So, the camera's too far and the video quality isn't good. The sound isn't. Okay. I will work on that. Good morning, Dana. Good morning. Good morning. So, okay. So anyways, we're going to work on Mugrugs today. We are going to, so what I use for the Mugrugs, I use a no-show mesh stabilizer in the hoop. So I hoop one of these. So I hoop the no-show mesh stabilizer. As you can see, it's pretty stiff. It's not a tearaway stabilizer, but the nice thing is when it's inside of your Mugrug. Let me turn this one inside out. It's on the inside of your Mugrug. It's very soft, and when you turn it, it makes it where it's okay. So, and you don't have to take the stabilizer off. The tearaway stabilizers and those kind of stabilizers, they get stiff, and and especially when you wash them, they're kind of hard. They're kind of hard to do. So, I'm gonna turn this one on. Wash. Are you saying rug? Mug rug? Kind of like, so your mug rug. It's like a rug for your mug. So RUG. Romeo Umbrella Golf. How about that? Yes. How are you this morning, Miss Kelly? Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and I have let me get a drink of coffee here, y'all. AKA coasters. Right, Tammy. Right. So coasters, however you want to call them. So I have an order to make some mouse pads. So I'm gonna make a couple mouse pads. Maybe this weekend. I don't know. I got to get them made before the 9th. So, okay. So I have got the no-show or the what do you call it? Now I can't talk this morning. What's wrong with me this morning, y'all? The mesh. Yes. What do you call it? Now I'm like no-show mesh. No-show mesh. I have a shirt that says "Sewing is my therapy." Tim, y'all. We had fun doing this reverse applique. Was it last week we did that or the week before? I can't remember. Anyways, we did this reverse applique. Y'all, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. And that one threw me for a loop. That one completely threw me for a loop on there. So it was fun. It was fun though. Okay. So we are going to put this in the embroidery machine. We are going to load the design. The design is a Juju design. I did not create this design. Check it out. I do have the thing on my TT. You can or not on my TT, on my link tree. And then hold on, let me see. I don't know. Resume live. It was kicking me out. Okay, don't do that. Sometimes it has a it pops out of there. So anyways, good morning, Marnie. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so again, we are doing Mugrugs. Good morning, Prinny. And I put no-show mesh stabilizer in the hoop. Good morning, coolest dad. So we're gonna put this in the embroidery machine. I am using a Quattro 2 embroidery machine. So before we do that, I've got all 9 my bears made for Xmas. They turn awesome, Sam. And you used the pattern. That is cool. Okay, so let's choose a design for the mug rug. See what theme you guys want to be in. So I have a fun little chicken. I've already put them onto a piece of fabric. I've already put them onto the piece of fabric. Good morning, Miss Cynthia. Thanks for coming back. Size of hoop I'm using. I am using a, why does it not, I think, hold on. There's no measurements on these hoops. I wish some of them have measurements, some of them do not have measurements. It drives me absolutely bad. So it looks like it is a, looks like an 8, 13, 10. It's an 8 by 10 hoop. 8 by 10 hoop. So, sorry. I wish they 5 by, so it says 8, it's 8 by 10. So I measured the distance in here. So it's 10 across this way and then 8 across this way. So, but a lot of them have the measurements down here as like in millimeters and in inches. This one doesn't have the measurements on it. So I never knew what size it was. So it's 8 by 10. It's an 8 by 10 hoop. So we're going to put that in there and then we're going to choose. We're going to choose one of these designs. So let me know which ones you guys are thinking. So I have a chicken one. And then that'll be the decider on the decider. Is that a word? The decider on what. And we'll be able to make a few of these. It takes about 20 minutes to make a mug rug, y'all. So when you see one that you like, holler at me. And you might just say the color of the fabric. So we have a Christmas one. Good morning, D. Smith. Good morning. You like the chicken, Miss Tammy? So we got a vote on a chicken. We have a vote on a chicken. This little guy is cute. I think he's a little chipmunk. I think he's a little chipmunk. He's kind of cute. Then I have chicken. Christmas. Okay, we got 2 chickens, 1 Christmas. Squirrel. Right, Tammy? Okay, now we're back to this. Okay, so we've got, I think chipmunk is winning right now. Chicken, Christmas. So those are the ones that I have out right now. I do have, I mean, I have a couple others that we could do. I'll throw these 2 up there too. So I have a gnome and a crazy lady. So a gnome and a crazy lady. So what are we thinking, guys? So we have over here on YT, we've got Christmas, chicken. I think the chicken is winning out, y'all. Gnome. Nancy, you like the gnome. Got 42 staples removed. Oh my gosh, you poor thing. Chicken. Okay, y'all, I think we're going to do chicken. Send me a message and I can send you the information on it. Send me a message and I can send you where I got her. Because, y'all, these crazy ladies are hilarious. I don't know. I get humor out of this, so I think it's kind of fun. But I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and do the chicken because we've got quite a few votes on that chicken. So let me find a piece of fabric to go with that. Thinking I'm going to get all kinds of squares here. I'm thinking we're going to go with blue. Blue. Okay. So first thing we need to do is we need to get a piece of, so we're going to do this one here. And then the other one, we have a flash goal. Let's see what our flash goal is this morning. Had my leg amputated. Ah! Well, we're sending you good vibes, Deb. We are sending you good vibes. Well, I guess it's not going to let me do a live goal. Okay, fine. Well, we are sending you lots of good vibes. Lots of good vibes. So, okay. So we're going to use this, but we need to hoop some, what do you call it? No, I'm losing my mind this morning. Batting. You ever have those mornings that you're like, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. So scrap batting from the side of quilts that I do, y'all. Scrap batting from the side of quilts that I use. That's there. Okay. I also have a fun gnome. That one's fun. I've seen that one over there. Okay. So I'm thinking, I thought about the blue, but you know what? There is red in that chicken. Red in the chicken. I think we're going to go red. Because I think if we put the red with the chicken, the red and the red. I'm thinking red, y'all. We're going to go red. Good morning, Mandy. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, yeah. I think the red was a better idea. Okay, so let's come over this. We're going to turn you guys this way. Turn it this way. See if they did that. Trying to see. I'm trying to get both y'all over here so you can see it. Okay, so we're going to come in here, and I have the embroidery machine. I have the hoop in here. So we're going to go into the embroidery. I have this saved onto my machine. So we're going to go here. So I have all of them on here. So I am going to, because we have, I don't even know what shape that is. That one is the shape of, because we have that one. We have a circle one. That one has hearts in it. Actually, let's do the hearts one. So this one actually has hearts quilted into it in the inside. So that one looks kind of cool. Let's go ahead and go with that one. So we're going to hit sewing. So what it does is, as you'll notice on the sewing machine, when you load that design, a lot of machines are different, but this one is a Quattro 2. And on there, you'll see, so this is your first stitch, and it shows you exactly what it's going to do. So it's going to run that run and stitch there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hoop the batting and the front fabric. So I'm going to put the batting on the back, and then I'm going to put the front fabric on there. But we need to change the color of thread there. We need to change that color. Actually, you know what? I think we can leave that gold, because I think the gold would be okay on there. I think the gold will be okay. So then what we do is we'll put, I'm going to switch you guys this way. So I'm going to put that foot down. On this one, you have to put the foot down, and then you'll see that it turns green. Once it turns green, we're going to run that first stitch around there. And I do it the Mugrugs a little different, because I don't do, because they have the outside, and the outside is like a satin stitch on the outside that you actually trim all of it. Well, I do the back of mine a little differently, because I don't know, that satin stitch all the way around the edge of it ends up, it takes a lot of stitches. It takes a lot of stitches on there. So okay, so next thing, we're going to unhoop this. We're going to come back over this way. This is it's kind of like, don't fall over there thing. Don't fall over. So next thing we're going to do is you're going to take your embroidery scissors. Get around my mess here. Y'all, I got a mess. I got to clean my mess up. So you're going to take your embroidery scissors. You're going to trim all the way around that. And the way I trim around it is I kind of hold the fabric up as I'm trimming around. Trying to hold that fabric up, because if you hold the fabric up, it lets you get a little bit closer to that stitch, but make sure you don't trim into that stitch. And make sure you don't trim into that stitch. And you want to trim around it, because that way when you turn it inside out, or right side out, not inside out, right side out, you can get those corners to pop. If you don't trim it, the corners have a harder time showing up when you turn it. So, and it tells you to trim it on the design. Like I said, I do it a little differently. I do the design a little differently than what they say, but because I end up adding a second batting, because I like the middle of it to kind of pop. So we'll get these all stitched up. Happy Tuesday. Anybody's just joining, happy Tuesday. We are working on Mugrugs in the embroidery hoop. Mugrugs in the embroidery hoop. And you don't have to have an embroidery machine to do Mugrugs. We did Mugrugs the other day outside of the embroidery hoop. So you can do them both ways. You can do them both ways, y'all. So So my husband had a good point about tomorrow. So tomorrow we said we were going to, or not tomorrow, but Friday. Because what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. We're doing the bag tomorrow. Friday we were talking about doing crocheting on the side of a baby quilt. And I was poking holes. He goes, you do realize that's going to fray. Now, I didn't even think about that. But I'm thinking, so I have the side of it serged. And I think if I just sew a thing on the outside, I think we'll still be okay. Okay, so I've trimmed around it, and you can see that I've trimmed fairly close to it. So we're going to pop this back in the machine, and then we'll run the stitches, and then it's going to get to that middle one, and that's where we're going to add that chicken. And when I do that, I also add a piece of batting in there. So that just makes it pop out just a little bit more when it is in there. So turn y'all back around here. Y'all gonna be turning. Thank you, Miss Carrie. Put that one in here. Doom. So we're gonna stitch this one out. So I think we're gonna have a couple because I kind of cheat. So the way they say to do that, thank you for the sewing machines, Miss Tammy. Thank you. Good morning, Miss Cindy. How are you? So Floriani thread. You can have, there's so many different kinds that you can use. Thanks for the heart me. Thank you very much. There's so many different threads that you can use, and y'all, it's whatever works for you, really. I mean, every machine has a mind of its own. Sometimes they have a mind of its own, but I have to say, I have found that Floriani thread works really well. So, but anyways, when I do mine, so they tell you to they'll run that first stitch. They tell you to put the batting down. They'll run the next stitch, and then you trim around that, and then you put your top piece of fabric. I kind of skip a few steps where I actually put the batting and the top fabric down and run that first stitch. I just make sure that it is. Thanks for the shares. I just make sure that it is within the stitching area. So you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out as you're going. So, but you figure these tricks out. The more you embroider, the more you figure these out. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Okay, so now you see it moved. So it moved into that middle. So on this one, I actually go ahead and run that stitch because we want to know exactly where we're going to put this, because we're going to kind of center that one on there. So thank you for this now again. Oh my gosh, those are the cutest things. So we're going to drop that down, and we are going to run that stitch. So what will happen is we'll run that stitch, and then we're going to actually, and on the instructions, it says to just put a piece of fabric on top. Like I said, I add another piece of batting there, and you'll see why once we get started stitching, because it just gives it just that, I don't know, it gives it a pop, if you know what I mean. So it just makes it stand out that much more. Okay, so what I've done is I've put, and this is a transfer, and so I've put this transfer onto a piece of fabric, and then I'm taking a piece of batting. So just a low loft, Good morning, B. Good morning, Gray Lady. Thank you. So it's just a low loft cotton batting. It seems to work out really well. So, and if you want to know where I get it, send me a message. So I'm going to put this in here, and you'll see that. So this right here on the side of your embroidery machine, right there where that needle's at, that's where the side of the one side is at. So you kind of look in there, and we're kind of seeing it's not going to completely fit in there. So you kind of center it as much as you can in there to see how much you can get of the image. Sometimes you'll get all of it in there, sometimes you won't, depending on what you're using. So, but either way, it works out okay. So I'm not going to be able to get Miss Chicky in there all the way. So we're going to get her in there as much as we can. So then we're going to stitch this down. Once we stitch this down, we'll pull it back out of there, and then we're going to trim back around that again. We'll trim back around that again. So you kind of hold it down because you're floating this fabric. And yesterday I kind of explained what floating fabric means. So when you're floating the fabric is you have the stabilizer and stuff in the hoop, and then you're just putting that piece of fabric on top of the stabilizer, and it's not actually hooped within there. So that's floating it on top. So can you use you can use spray, Tammy. I tend to try and stay away from the spray. I would recommend the tape more than I would the spray. It can gum up your needle. You got to be careful on that because it can gum up your needle and you end up having to replace more needles. So let's pop this out of here and we're going to spin back around. So if you are going to use spray, I recommend a 505. I would recommend a 505. So that would be my, that would be my recommendation on the spray. So because there's all kinds of different kinds of sprays that you can use, and you got to be careful on what is in them because gumming up the machine is not any fun. Not any fun. Okay, so as you can see, we've stitched this on here. We've got it all stitched on here, and so we have this batting and the other fabric. We got to get that trimmed off there. So we're going to go in there and we're going to trim this again. And embroidery scissors, y'all. Get your pair of embroidery scissors if you don't have any. I'm going to get these. And embroidery scissors there. So they got like a curve and a point, and the end of them trim. The end of them trim fabric. So like you said, you hold up that piece of fabric, hold it up, trim around. And this one, you want to get as close as you can because it's going to have a satin stitch around this design here. I said, we'll go through this process. We'll see how many we can make. We'll see how many we make. If it takes about 20 minutes, we might be able to make 3 of them. We'll see. Let's see how many we can make here. Turn this around. I think everybody liked the squirrel. Maybe we'll do the squirrel or chipmunk, whatever he was, along with this one. So I love chickens. So I like chickens. I used to be a chicken lady. Y'all, I grew up with over 200 chickens in my yard. So I like chickens too. I like a chicken. I used to just go out and sit with the chickens. Just sit in the middle of the pen. They come crawl all over you. They have their own attitudes. They do. Each one of them has their own little attitudes. They're cool. Cool. Okay. So I have now trimmed all the way around this, and you can see how close I've got. I've got as close as I can, but you didn't cut that seam because what happens if you end up cutting the seam, it'll you said chicken because of my name, chickadee treasures, y'all. If you end up cutting that thread, what'll happen is that fabric will pull back, and then you're going to end up seeing the batting in there. And you don't want to have that batting in there. So you want to trim as close as you can, but yet don't get on there. So we're going to turn back to the embroidery machine. Turn back to the embroidery machine. So we're going to load her back in there. And then we're going to stitch. So what it's going to do now is it's actually going to, I'm going to move y'all down a little bit. Do not fall over. So now it's going to stitch that quilting in there. Now it'll stitch that quilting in there. So it's kind of fun. Whoever created embroidery machines was a genius, y'all. Whoever created the embroidery machines was a genius because they're too much fun. Too much fun. So it's going to quilt. This one's quilting hearts. So it'll get all that quilting in there. And then it's just going to continue through the steps. It'll just continue through the steps here, y'all. Is actually so over here on YT they're asking me so about the price there. Send me hold on a minute, y'all. I'm going to send a message over here on YT. Had to turn away, so you went on ahead and put the satin stitch around the center part. So the satin stitch has not gone there yet. Satin stitch has not gone there. It's doing the quilting with inside of it. So I trimmed around it, and it's doing the quilting on the inside. And then after the quilting gets done, then it'll do that satin stitch around the edge of it. So hold on, let me answer a question over here on YT right quick. And my I'm going to put back here. Okay, here we go. Check out this place, please. Turn on. Check that out because you can just all you need is images. All you need is images, and then you can get yes, placement stitches. Yes, you can get them printed. So check that out. My thread broke here, y'all. My thread broke. I have to say, an automatic threader on your machine is a game changer. My other machine, one of my machines I have is not an automatic threader, and y'all, oh my gosh. So sometimes, just as an FYI, sometimes when your thread breaks, when you're making the good morning, when you're making the design, sometimes that thread breaks. So what do? You're like, oh my gosh, so you replace the thread, but then you realize that you got to go back a couple stitches because it missed a couple stitches when that thread broke. So you have a needle and it says it has a minus and a plus sign on it. Okay, so you hit that minus and you plus sign, and then you have these options in here. So you'll see that you have a -1 and a +1, a -10 and a +10. So on that means the -1 will go back a stitch. The +1 will go forward a stitch. So you'll look on there and you'll notice when you do a minus, you'll see that your needle actually moves when you do that. So if I do -10, it's going to go back 10 stitches. Okay, that wasn't enough. So we're going to go back more. So we're going to go back a few more stitches. Okay, so it looks like that's a good place to go. So you can leave it on this screen or you can close it back out. You can close it back out. That way you know exactly where you're going. So, but that's a little hint. So if the thread breaks while you're doing your embroidery, that's a good screen to see. So you have your minus and your plus. Just look for that little thing and it has a minus and a plus in there. And when you get in there, you have these right here. So the ones over here, some of them are a little different. This one has a spool of thread that says a minus and a plus. That will actually jump a color. That'll actually jump a color. So you can jump a color back or you can jump a color forward on there. So that's just a little bit of a hint on those. So works out really well. So we're going to close that back out. We're going to come back over here and we're going to get started on here again. So we're going to drop that foot. And like I said, I've gone back to where the thread broke and we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going on there. And sometimes it happens. Sometimes you'll go away and you don't break any threads. Sometimes you sit there in embroidery and you break threads all day long. It's like, really? So. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follows, y'all. My brand machine that I used for the first time this weekend, I broke the 9 needles, no idea why. So you broke like 9 needles. Switch over to TT. Where do you get your? So if you Beverly, look up at the comment above. Do you see the comments above? If you can see all the comments there. So I get the images on E, and then if you look up above, that's where I get them. Phenomenal company, y'all. And what I do is I actually order like a game sheet is what I order. So you choose whatever images you want, and then you upload those images in there, and it builds out. And y'all, the price is really good. The price is really good. So. Okay, Miss Cynthia. Okay, so now somebody was asking earlier, good morning, good morning. Somebody was asking earlier if we were doing that satin stitch already. We had not done the satin stitch, so you are very welcome. Never saw DTF. So y'all, I'm like addicted to the DTF transfers. I love the DTF transfers, and look what you can do with it. You can do so many different things. Sounds like, oh yeah, Mandy, that could be it. That could totally be it. So send me a message, the person that was having problems with the needles, and I'll see if I can help you. I'll see if I can help you out. So, okay. So now what it's going to do is, you can see it's going to do that satin stitch around it. So we're going to drop that, and I'm thinking, I'm trying to decide. I'm almost thinking, do we want to do a different color on there? Because we could do, I have a drawer full of colors, y'all. I have a drawer full of colors, because we could totally do different color. I don't know, I kind of like the yellow though. We're going to stay with the yellow. We're just going to stay yellow. Because there's so much red in there already, so. So on a satin stitch, how that satin stitch works is it'll go and do a zigzag all the way around the edge. And then once that zigzag goes there, it'll come back in. And then it'll do the, I'm thinking I may have to rethread this. We'll see what it does here. I think we might be okay. No, we're on this way. So the, I don't use the sideways holders on my machine. For some reason or other, I just don't like the sideways holders on there. So, Miss Cynthia, I can't see the message. I need to give you my other number, Miss Cynthia. So we're gonna go. Remember, we can go back a few stitches because it misses a couple of stitches. We're gonna go back a couple of stitches. And it might help if I thread the needle. That's okay. I get a step ahead of myself, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you might want to thread it. There we go. Okay, cool. Da-jim. The only thing I can think with the breaking of the needles is, was it during embroidery? If it was during embroidery, I don't know. Oh, thank you for that. So Miss Cynthia just sent me a screenshot of the needle breaking question. So I'll reach out to you and see if we can help you. Do you have a transfer put in an embroidery file? So Beverly, so the transfers are actually, and stop. The transfers are actually printed on, hold on, let me show you. So the transfers are actually printed, they're actually printed on this, and then I press them onto fabric. Once I get this, I press them onto, thanks for the bubble gum. Oh my gosh, that thing makes me think of a joke. So, and then that's what they do. So I do have somebody right now working on a digitation for me, so we're gonna see how that works out. So I'm doing a collaboration with them. We'll see how that works out because y'all are gonna benefit from that collaboration too, just so you know. So let's see, my thread broke here. See, that's what happens is sometimes thread breaks. If you end up having thread breaking all the time, you might need to change the needle. So I'm thinking we're going to change the needle here right quick because that is what now the third time we've swapped that out. So I'm grabbing the needle. We're going to swap this needle out right quick. And I know a lot of people that are like, well, how often do you swap the needle? I swap the needle when I start having issues. A lot of people swap them every day. I'm sorry, needles are too expensive to swap every day. So that's just my personal opinion. So I swap it when I start having issues. When I start having issues is I'll put a new needle in. So if your thread starts breaking all the time or starts gooping up, put your new needle in. Put your new needle in there. So you want to cinch it down. That way it doesn't come loose. That way it doesn't come loose there. We're going to thread this back in there. Thread back in there. So, yeah, but I mean, a lot of people, and I just use a universal needle. If anybody's asking what needle I use, I just use a universal needle. I don't use an embroidery needle. I don't use, I mean, the universal one literally works for everything, y'all. That universal one works for everything. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. What's the question? You don't have, no silly questions. Beverly, there is never a silly question. I take all questions. I love to do training. I was doing training at work yesterday. I was training my admins on how to do something, so which is fun. I love to teach. I love to teach y'all. So please ask all the questions you like. And thanks for the boxing. Those are cool. Thanks for the boxing gloves. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are just awesome here. So now it's ran like the what do you call it? Like the zigzag across it. Now it's putting in that satin stitch. We are making mug rugs. Here, let me show you. So we're doing mug rugs. So this is a bigger mug rug. So we're making mug rugs. So, and if you don't know what a mug rug is, thank you, Bessie. If you don't know what a mug rug is for your coffee cup. So your coffee cup, your tea glass, whatever you have to sit on the counter. That way it doesn't, right? That way it doesn't mess up your table, your coffee table, whatever, you know, you're putting that hot or cold liquid on there. And y'all, I need to see, because somebody asked me yesterday about using something to a stain resistant thing on it. So I'm going to do some research on that and see what I can find about putting a stain resistant thing, because y'all, these are too much fun for it to get all stained up. So too much fun. And it doesn't matter what size of hoop. So like I said, this is a smaller one. And this one is, I think this one is Scotchgard. That, Tammy, yes. Let me write that down. So I'm actually going to look into that and see, because I don't have any. So, but we'll look and see what we can find. Y'all, we got 21 people over on YT. I'm excited. Thank you, YT. I appreciate y'all joining. I really appreciate y'all joining on there. I'm really trying to grow my YT. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And over here on TT, if you want to get over on the YT, it's actually a bigger view. You can click in my bio. You'll find it there. But anyways, 4x4, you can use your 4x4 hoops, because I try to show y'all things that you can do, and I try to make it where y'all can see that you can do it all the way from a 4x4 hoop all the way up to your bigger hoops, So no matter what machine you have, it'll work. So what about putting lightweight vinyl in the snow globe to protect mug rug? Not a bad idea. So like in the center of it, putting a That would be, I was thinking about, actually Cynthia sent me yesterday, Marnie, about doing a snow globe. So maybe we'll do some snow globes. We could do some snow globes. That might be fun. That might be fun. So it's going to run this vinyl stitch. Like I said, it's about 19 minutes on this. I may have to switch to my t-shirt because I'm standing in front of my little heater here and it gets a little warm. It gets a little warm here. I was thinking the other day, so one thing that I made in the hoop, y'all, how about we make these one day? So these are fun little zipper bags that you can put your pins and stuff in. They go on a little binder. Those are kind of fun, and it has a little strap on the back side of it. Kind of cool. I don't know. I was thinking about us doing those one day. Maybe we can do those one day. Just some ideas, right? Y'all get to choose. Thank you, thank you. Y'all get to choose what we do. Y'all get to choose what we do. So tomorrow, sorry, hot flashes are getting me. Tomorrow we're going to be working on a. I have a drawer full of strips, and my drawer full of strips is clogged here. Closed. I'm trying to get out of your guys' way here. So tomorrow we're working on a quilted handbag. So snow globes and those zipper things next week. Okay, yeah, we don't have, Tammy, we don't have next week. We don't have next week's schedule. So what state are you in? Are you always on? So Teaspoon. So I am in Arizona. I am on Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30 in the morning, Mountain Standard Time. And my schedule, if you look in my bio, is the first one pinned there. I always pinned our schedule because I put our schedule for the week. And y'all get to choose what the schedule is. Y'all get to choose what that schedule is. So we always had lots of fun. We're either doing embroidery, we are doing sewing, quilting. We may try. You should be able to see. I am good, Christy. I am good. On the YT, you can either, you should be able to see it that way, or you should be able to see it. I have it in my bio, but sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't show up. Miss Cynthia, can you show her what my YT is, please? Y'all, we got 23 people on YT. I'm excited. Yes, I'm a director of IT. I run an IT department, so I hop on every morning. To do fun sewing projects with y'all. And it makes it fun. Good morning. Thanks for joining, y'all. I appreciate y'all joining. Right? Are these not cute? So let me turn y'all. I'm going to turn y'all and talk to you for a minute. I took my sweatshirt off. I was like, it's hot. I got a little warm. So, but yay, life is better when you're quilting. Anyway, so what we're working on today. So just as an FYI. So this is what we're working on today. And so we're going to get to the point right now. We're running that satin stitch. If you see, there's a satin stitch around these Mugrugs. So this is what we're running right now, is that satin stitch. So after it runs that satin stitch, it's going to stitch. It'll do a couple of more stitches just to kind of make it pop. Okay. Once we do that, I kind of do it a little differently because I back my quilt or my Mugrugs like this. I like that back, right? I like the back like this. I don't, because you can do it a little differently, but I find this is the easiest way. I like to have the backs like this. So I'm going to show y'all exactly how to do the backs this way. All right, Miss Cynthia. So, but yeah, that's kind of what we're working on right now. So it's doing that satin stitch, and then it's going to go, it's fixing to finish on that satin stitch. And then it's going to stitch those other ones. So you like this way? I really like this way. I don't know. And because you end up turning it, as you can see, you turn it inside out. I'm going to continue that machine. You turn it because I'm going to turn this back the other way. That way y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about while the machine's going. Because what happens is, so you can see that it has this, and literally all you're doing is, now, oh, that one's a different one. but all you're doing is you're adding a couple pieces of fabric onto the top of it, and then it pops. And then once you do that, because you see these two pieces of fabric are added up here, and what it does is it stitches around, and then you trim around that, and once you trim around that, you turn it inside out. I don't know, I just kind of like it this way. I kind of like it this way. So, like I said, but it's just my preference. Once you've done these a few times, you figure out your preference on how you like to do them. You figure out on how you like to do them. So, and then I add my name to the back of them. I add my name. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the follows, y'all. Y'all are awesome. So we are, and you kind of push out the corners here. Push out these corners. But make sure you use like either a tool to push those corners out. Don't ever use scissors. Don't ever use scissors when you're pushing that out. So let's turn back here, and I'm going to show y'all. Thanks for the heartbeat turtle. Turtle Island. Very cool. Where are we all from this morning? Like I said, I am here. Right. I love that closing, Bernie. Good morning. Good morning. So I am in Arizona. I am on Mountain Standard Time. I am live. Hudson, Florida. Very cool. Thanks for the join. I am on live Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30 in the morning. I am always doing something fun, y'all. We are doing so many different fun things. So, y'all, the other day in the embroidery machine, we did that reverse applique. We did the reverse applique. And you can see Midland, Texas. Very cool. Welcome, welcome. And you can see that we just added fabric to the back side of this. I got one more stitch on here, and then I'll show y'all how to do add that other thing on there. But we added fabric to the back of it, and then we trimmed it out. Like I said, y'all get to choose the schedule. So my schedule is posted in my bio. You can see exactly what we're doing tomorrow. Tomorrow we're making a quilted handbag with vinyl on the bottom, and we're going to be adding a zipper to that bag. So Mr. Coolest Dad was a request from Coolest Dad. Like I said, y'all get to choose what we do. Thursday, yesterday we added bows to the side of a sweatshirt. So Thursday we're going to add an embroidery to the front of that sweatshirt that we added the bows to. So y'all, I'm making myself sweatshirts for this time of year. So, you know, it's kind of fun. So once, and then Friday, we're going to see what we can do. We're going to take a baby quilt and we're going to crochet onto the side of that baby quilt. Like I said, we are doing something different every day. We are having some fun. Last week we made a Christmas decoration. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. I still got to do a video of my office. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. So I'm not working today. So maybe tomorrow I'll do that. So, but anyway, so, okay. So we are done with this. So it's on the last stitch. So I'm going to show y'all what we do. So like I said, I do it a little differently. So I back it with two pieces of fabric. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take these transfers here. I'm going to turn that iron on because I need two pieces of fabric. I need two pieces of fabric to go on the back of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, you know what we're going to do? And you can use whatever. I've got squares. So I'm going to use two yellow squares. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm going to use two yellow squares. So I'm going to fold these yellow squares right in half, y'all. Hey, Francis, how are you? Thank you. So I'm going to fold these in half. We'll iron them. We're going to iron them. Let me turn y'all that way so we can see what we're doing here. So literally, and wrong sides together. You want to fold them wrong sides together, y'all. I'm going to put that down there and just press that down. And then I'm going to grab this one. Hold it down this way. Ignore my mess over here, y'all. We were looking through all kinds of things over here. So ignore my mess. That one pressed down. Okay. Turn that iron off. Okay. So now you have your two pieces. You have your two pieces like this. Okay. So let's go over here and I'm going to show y'all how this is going to work. And you're going to like it. Thank you, Ari. Thank you. So we're going to come. We're just a turning. Okay. So we're over here. So first thing you're going to have to do, though, is you want to skip to that next stitch because we're going to rerun the first stitch. We're going to rerun that first stitch again. So I'm going to, on my machine in the design, like I said, I do a little different than they say. I'm going to go in here and where it has the plus and the minus on the color change, I'm going to go to that first color. So I'm going to hit the plus and it goes back to that first color. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is actually on the machine, I'm going to take this and you put the fold to the inside. You put that fold to the inside. So you put that fold right here, and then you take this fold and you put that to the inside. So this is where your trick comes in. Y'all get out that medical tape. This is just what I use. You can use whatever. They have actual tape that's made for embroidery machines and stuff. Y'all, this one works really well. So it's just a paper medical tape. Good morning, Shannon. So I take that paper medical tape, and I'm going to tell you why. So what's going to happen is that machine's going to run around, okay? It's going to run around that stitch. Well, when it comes down on this stitch, it's going to come right over. No problem, because there's not a lip. But when it comes back over this way and it comes up and it goes up like that, it's going to hit that lip. And if it hits that lip, it's going to pick up that piece of fabric. You don't want it picking up the piece of fabric. So you just take a piece of this tape. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Take this piece of tape. It's just, you know, like I said, it's just a paper medical tape. Sews right over. It comes right off after you get done. So you put that piece of tape right here like that, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and run that first stitch. So we're going to, and as you see, like I said, here is this piece of tape right here. And then what happens, as I said, it's going to, oh, we're stitching the other way. We're stitching backwards. I always forget, some of the designs go one way, some of the designs go the other way, and we're going to stop that and put it over this way. Because now it's going to go up that way. So, but as you can see, we're going backwards. It's okay. So as you can see, it's going to come over this way and it's going to come up that way. If I wouldn't have put that piece of tape there, there was a possibility, you see how the fabric is? It would have gone and grabbed that piece of fabric and gone over it. So I'm going to go ahead and run that next stitch. That way it double stitches on there. Run that second stitch. So once this gets done, we'll take it off the hoop. Good morning, Miss Nikki. No walking this morning, Miss Nikki. Is it really? Oh, hey, y'all. Miss Marty over here on YT is saying the tape is on sale, y'all. The tape is on sale on the Big A. I will have to definitely go look at that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to unhoop this. And I think the next one that we do is going to be a circle, because we'll do a circle one on the next. Oh, nice. Very cool. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, y'all. We learned so many things. We learned so many things from our fellow quilters and sewers, and back a couple stitches. And you don't have to have transfers to do this. You can actually take a piece of fabric and add to the middle, just give it an accent into the middle of it. You can use whatever. So, okay. That one's done. So let's come over this way. We're going to go this way. Take it out of the hoop. So we've got it in the hoop. And you see those, the tape. So like I said, that tape comes right off. Comes right off. And then take this one off. It's like a must. If you have an embroidery machine and you're running designs, you just pull it right off. Pulls right off. So thanks for the share, y'all. Thanks for the share. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to trim around this. I'm going to trim around this. So, and you don't want to cut the seam. You don't want to cut the seam on there. So what you're going to do is you're going to take and trim around. You're going to go like a 1/4 inch from the actual seam. Go a 1/4 inch from that actual seam, y'all. And kind of trim around. But yeah, just a 1/4 inch around. So trim around, trim this way, around those corners. And then we're going to press those out. Then we'll press those out and then we'll iron them. But you got to remember, I'm going to turn my iron off. Remember, when you iron, don't press directly on that transfer. Don't press directly on the transfer. Thanks for coming back, Cynthia. Go around this way. Go around this way. Just trimming around the corners. Trimming around the corner. Then we'll turn this inside out. Then we're going to turn this inside out. And I'll show y'all how I press it. I'll show y'all how I press it. So, and then we'll do another one. Then we'll do another one. Okay, so here is that. So you see the folds there? So what you're going to do is you're going to take that first fold that you have here, and you're just going to push your thumbs out. So then you take and you push with your fingers. You find those corners, push them out, and then push out that way. Push out that corner. You have a corner here and a corner there. Okay, so we've got those corners pushed. So now we're going to turn it inside out. 9K. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Coolest Dad. Thank you, Coolest Dad. Thanks for tapping, y'all. Thanks for tapping. Okay, so we got these all pushed out. Got these all pushed out here. And then come out this way. Come out this way. Okay, so now, oh my gosh, she's cute. She is cute. So now we'll go over to the pressing mat and we'll give it a little press. But like I said, when you press these, you got to be careful with the transfers. You want to put a piece of fabric on top. So let me clean this mess up. Put this over there. We'll load another one. We'll do one more. We'll do one. We have time to do one more. Yeah, we got time. We might be able to do 2 more. So let me take this right here. And like I said, you want to take a piece of fabric. So we're going to take a piece of fabric and we're going to put on top. We're just going to put that on top. That way to protect that transfer. And then we're going to look at Scotch Guard. We're going to look at that Scotch Guard and see if that'll work. See if that'll work. So press this down. Press this down. And then I had my name printed on the transfer. I'm telling you, transfers, y'all. Transfers. It worked out really well. I'm going to take and put that on the back. Pull that off and then give that a press. Okay, so we have done a chicken mug rug. How cool is that, y'all? How cool is that? Isn't it fun? And you can see the name is kind of cool. I'm liking the name. It's kind of cool. Good morning, Miss Amy. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so thanks for the heart, me. Thank you for the heart, me. Yes, right? Okay, so y'all liked the chipmunk. How about we do one with the chipmunk? So the chipmunk. Where'd we go, chipmunk? So chipmunk. How cute is the chipmunk? So I'm thinking, right? Is that not fun? Can I see the back again? Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's the back. She had asked to see the back again. So, right? Isn't that fun? How cute is that? Right? Isn't it cool? Fun, fun. You square don't want to. Right? Yes. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Kind of cool. Okay. So now, y'all like the little chipmunk. How about we have fun with the little chipmunk? I'm thinking we have fun with the little chipmunk. He is cute. Let's find, you know what, I found this fabric the other day. How about we use this fabric? Y'all like this fabric? I don't have, I wish I had more of this fabric. More of that fabric would be kind of cool. Good morning. Good morning. Thank y'all for joining. What do you think about this fabric? Yes? Okay. So let's get a piece of batting. And I think we're going to do a circle one this time. Thinking we're going to do a circle one this time. So cut a piece of batting out. I think there's 2 pieces there. Trim that. I know there's 2 pieces of fabric there. I know there's 2 pieces of fabric there. What we're going to do is I'm going to run the scissors down that. So we're going to take this and put a piece of batting, not you laughing. I don't know who that one was. I don't know who that one was. Okay, so we're going to take and we're going to go back to the embroidery machine and we're going to load the circle. Because like I said, I have a circle Mugrug. So we're going to load a circle one. We're going to have fun with that chipmunk. We're going to have fun with the chipmunk. So let's go back over here and I'll show y'all loading the design. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out this morning, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. So I'm going to remove this out of here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back here. So we have this design in here. So we want to just go back. So we're going to hit return and we're going to say, okay, so it gets rid of that design. So like I said, I want to do a circle one. So we're going to do a circle design. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the circle one and I'm going to hit sewing on there. So we're going to go back into here and this design takes about 17 minutes. It doesn't take too long. So that works out really well. There's not a lot of bobbin there. So I'm going to go ahead and put a new bobbin in. Keep that one. I'm going to take and put a new bobbin in here. And we need a different color. We need a different color on here. I'm going to hoop. So I hoop, I do hoop. So when I hoop a no-show mesh stabilizer for these Mugrugs. So the Mugrugs, you want something that's not going to crunch, not something that's not going to like dissolve and make a mess when you wash it. So I use just a no-show mesh stabilizer in the hoop. So I'm going to hoop that right quick. And I think we decided this was an 8x10 hoop earlier that I'm using. But you can have the smaller designs, you can use the bigger designs, however, whichever one, you know, whatever you can use. So, because I've done big ones, y'all. I've done these big ones. I've done smaller ones. I've done really small ones because this is a smaller one than that. So as you can see, you can go any size. There's not a limit on what size you can use. So much fun. So once you get it hooped in there, you kind of pull. The nice thing is with the no-show, it's not gonna tear or anything. So you kind of pull up on the edges on there. So and then it stays in there. I love Mugrugs too. I love Mugrugs. Mugrugs are just too much fun. Mugrugs are just too much fun on there. So let's go back over to the embroidery machine. Back over to the embroidery machine. Y'all, we're having fun with embroidery today. Hopefully y'all are enjoying the live today. I appreciate y'all hanging out. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Then we're going to say, okay. All right, I need a different color. I'm tired of yellow. We've used yellow for quite a few things here. So I'm going to trim up top. You always want to trim up top and pull down. You always want to trim up top and pull down. Do I always remember that? No. But just as an FYI, the thread was meant to come this way down. It was not meant to go back up that way. So does it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's just something that somebody, I think it was somebody that worked on sewing machines had told me one time. So let me see. I'm trying to decide. What if we use, I'm trying to decide what color to use, y'all. Because if we use, I'm almost thinking of brown. What color are you guys thinking? What color are you guys thinking? I don't know. So this is what we're using. We're using this little guy. We could use a brown. I have a variegated brown. What if we use, hey, I love variegated. How about we use variegated, y'all? We gotta have fun with variegated. Yes, of course. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, you really like that, don't you? I was like, yes, I love variegated thread. I love variegated thread, y'all. And this one is made by Amann Group. AMANN is where this. I got it at the quilt store. So is where I got this one. So this one's kind of cool. Wait till you see it. It's kind of cool. Look at this thread. I did not make my shirt. I did not. A friend of mine gave it to me. So is that not cool? Right? Okay. So thing that I didn't realize for years, y'all. I did not realize for years. Y'all, check this out. the bottom of your thing pops down. So your thread thing pops down. So when you're done with your thread, just wrap it down on the bottom like this and pop that back up. And your the thing that I do use pre-wound bobbins. I do use pre-wound bobbins. So pop that out and then pop that back in. So, right? I am in love with this one too. This one, and I think it's gonna go perfect. Oh, whoops. Tell me I didn't close y'all. Come back. Okay. I almost thought I closed y'all. So the variegated thread, I think is gonna go really good with this. I think it's gonna go really good. So thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. So let's go ahead and get this in here. And I don't use the sideways winder or thread holders. I just don't like them. It's just my personal opinion. So I'm using my serger back there as my thread stand. So using my serger as my thread stand. I'm gonna pop this in there. So get that one in there. So now what we're gonna do is we need to hoop. So I'm going to hoop. So I have, good morning, Kelly. How are you? So I have the batting and I have the fabric. So I'm going to hoop both of these at the same time. Could you do a project on this? Absolutely. We could have fun on the serger. We could totally have fun on the serger. I love having fun on the serger. So we're going to put this in here. I'm going to hoop this, hoop that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run that first stitch. And we're going to kind of trim around. We're going to trim around that one. So we don't have next week's schedule completely filled up. So maybe we could add it to next week. We could have fun on that serger. So we're just floating this fabric on top here. So we have the stabilizer was hooped in the hoop. And then we took and floated this fabric on there. So where can you find these files? For the embroidery design? Is that what you're asking, Karen? She's asking for the files. So so these designs are actually from Juju, but if you click in my bio there, Miss Karen, it'll take you to my tree page, and then I load a bunch of where I get designs and stuff from, so you can check that out if you'd like. Okay, so we have this in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unhoop this, and we're going to take it back over here, and we're going to trim around these. You are very welcome, Karen. You are very welcome. I like to share. So, okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these embroidery scissors. We're going to take the embroidery scissors and then we're going to trim around. We're going to trim around that. I'm going to go a little bit this way. I'm going to take, and what I do is I hold up the piece of fabric that I'm trimming. Let you trim it a little bit close, but not too close. You don't want to go too close on there. If you go too close, it'll end up showing batting through on your design, so you don't want that. Turn. That variegated thread. I'm excited to see what it does when it quilts inside of the little chipmunk there. I like the little chipmunk. The little chipmunk is cute. The little chipmunk is cute. Turn around this. We're going to pop that back in the hoop. And we're going to run the next couple stitches. And then when it gets to that center one, we'll run that stitch and then we're going to add him in there. Like I said, I add an extra piece of batting. You don't have to add it. Doesn't call for the extra piece of batting, but I like what it does. It adds a it's kind of a 3D effect, kind of. I don't know if you can see it on here, but it kind of makes it pop. Kind of makes it pop on there. So what's the difference between regular scissors and embroidery scissors? Okay, so embroidery scissors. So here's a regular pair of scissors. You see how it's flat on there? And then look at the embroidery scissors. And the embroidery scissors, what they do is it's curved, and the end of it trims. The end of it will trim your fabric. The end of these will not trim that fabric. So These actually trim all the way to the very tip of the edge. So makes it a lot easier when you're trimming around that fabric. Good morning, Anna Smith. Oh, good morning. Okay, so we've now trimmed, thank you for the heart, me. So we've now trimmed around this. So we're gonna load this back in the machine. It's gonna run the next stitches here. And then, cannot see you. Renee, you can't see me? Oh, TT didn't see. Oh, I apologize. Hold on. I'm going to turn this. So I got to fix my holder. My holder got broke. So we have these scissors. Okay. So these are your flat scissors, just regular scissors. These are your embroidery scissors. You see how these are flat? These are curved. So they're curved on there. Okay. So, and like I said, when you're trimming fabric, let me grab a piece of fabric here. I'm going to grab this. So when you're trimming fabric, the nice thing is these trim right to the edge. So they actually cut right all the way to the tip of there. All the way to the tip of there will trim. On these scissors, they don't cut on the end. They don't see how if I try to cut, it doesn't cut there. So when you're trying to trim around those pieces when you're in the hoop, it makes it a lot easier if you have these little curved ones that trim all the way to the end. All the way to the end. If you go on and Google, what do you call it? Embroidery scissors, you'll see the curved ones in there. So you will see the curved ones. Okay, let's turn you this way. Let me see. Hold on a minute. I'm going to see if I can get y'all hooped back in here. Try and not drop you guys. That is not. I'm turning you guys. Sorry about that. I'm trying to make it where. See if I can get you guys a better view. I ordered the tool to use to make the nice. Very cool. Okay. Is that a better view on TT? You're very welcome. I love helping. I love helping. So, okay. So we're going to go down a little bit. Is that better? Okay. Better. Okay. We're going to see if we can get this going there. Okay. Here we go. We're going to drop that down and we're going to run these other stitches on there. We're going to run the other stitches on there and see if we can get. So it'll run two. And then once it runs that center one, we're going to add this into the center. We'll add this one into the center on there, but we're going to add a piece of batting. Like I said, it doesn't call for the piece of batting, but I like to add an extra piece of batting on there. So. Isn't he cute? He is going to be cute on there. Very cute. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead because I skip a step on there. Okay. And now it's going to do that center. So once it does that center circle, we're going to know exactly where we need to put this little guy. Isn't he cute? I love little chipmunks. He's like, oh, he's so cute. Okay, so right here where this embroidery foot is left, that is the top. So you know that's exactly at the top and kind of off to the center. So I'm going to move him up a little bit. And this is going to be a little bigger than the circle. A little bit bigger than the circle on the sides, but it's pretty close because it is pretty close. We're going to get the majority. I think we're going to get the majority of this little guy in there. So we're going to drop that down. It's going to run that stitch. Once it runs this stitch on here, we'll take it back out of the hoop and we're going to trim around. We are going to trim around. So, and I kind of hold it on here because it's floating on here. It kind of keeps the the wrinkles out of the fabric. That way it kind of stays taut in there. So then it'll go right around again. So get this little guy. He is cute. Alan, he is cute. Okay, so we're gonna turn back around and we're gonna trim this around. I'm gonna come back this way. Come back this way. Okay. Okay. So now we have this little guy. I think that's better on the TT. So we're gonna take, and you see that we have a piece of the fabric and batting there on top of there. So we need to trim around that. We need to take and trim around that one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the embroidery scissors again. So, and we are going to trim around that one. So, and what I do is I pick up that fabric and I just trim. You want to trim as close as you can, but you don't want to trim that stitch. You trim that stitch and you end up making it where the fabric will go backwards when it starts doing that satin stitch, and then you're going to see like batting behind it, or it just messes it up. And trust me, I've done it. But if you end up doing that, take it over to your regular sewing machine and run a satin stitch on there. You can always fix. Nothing is unfixable. Well, I guess some things are unfixable, but some things are unfixable. But I try and figure things out. I try and figure them out. Trimming around here. I feel like I'm rambling again. Am I rambling again? Y'all, I go in stages. Sometimes I end up rambling. Okay. So we have now trimmed him out. It's gonna be cute. It's gonna be cute, y'all. This one's gonna be cute. So now we will hop him back into the embroidery machine. And then what it's going to do is it's going to do the quilting inside of here. Once it does that quilting, it'll come onto the outside and do that satin stitch on there. So, y'all, what do you think? I'm thinking it's going to be a cute. I'm really liking him. He is cute. Cute, cute, cute. So let's go back of this way. Go back of this way. We're going to hoop him in here. We are going to run that quilting design in there, right? Thank y'all for hanging out this morning. I really appreciate you hanging out. And thanks for all the people hanging out on YT, y'all. We've got 22 people over on YT. I'm excited. I think that's the most we've ever had. I'm excited. So thank you. So what it does, so you know how I added the batting in there? When I added that batting in there, it just kind of made it pop out a little bit. So it's kind of cool. Thank you guys. Y'all, we're at 12K likes this morning. Keep it tapping, y'all. It gets us out there and gets us going. So I appreciate you. And again, if you are new to me, I am on Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30 in the morning, Arizona time, which is Mountain Standard Time. So I do post my schedule in my bio, so you'll be able to see the schedule there. So tomorrow we are making a quilted handbag with vinyl on the bottom of it. We're adding a zipper into that. Are we adding pockets in there too, Coolestad? Are we adding pockets too? Well, this is Coolestad's choice. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because we can add pockets in there. We'll have some fun with it. We're gonna have some fun with it. But y'all, guess what? The zipper for the bag, we're going to make in the hoop. We're going to do the zipper. So we're going to make the panels, and then we're going to go over to the embroidery machine. We are going to add that zipper with the embroidery machine, and then we're going to go back to the sewing machine and finish that bag. So we're going to be using both tomorrow. So if you want to know how to add a zipper to a bag, let me know. So, okay, we can do pockets then. We can do pockets. So yeah, if you want to learn how to make a zipper on a bag in the hoop, let me know. Look at him. You know, it's amazing what quilting bag maker. Yeah, right. Thank you. So I am using, so you can see it's that one. So I have to be careful when I say the name. So, but if I'm going to turn you, they want to know what machine we're using here. So if you come over that way, you can see it's a Quattro 2. So if you Google Quattro 2, that is the one. Look on MP. You might be able to find it. Yeah, it's a Quattro 2. So you're welcome. I have a Luminaire 2 over behind us that I also use also. So, and then of course I have a Epic 980Q, and then I have a Topaz 50. I've got, and then of course I have a Burnett serger. So, what time do you come on in the morning? So I come on at 4:30 in the morning, Miss Connie. So, and that's Mountain Standard Time. So it is currently 6 o'clock here. So that kind of gives you a time frame. So I have a SC 700. I started and cannot get. Oh no! Well, let's help you get that going. Let's help you get that one going. And like I said, ask questions. And if you want to learn how to do something, y'all get to choose the schedule of what we're doing. So that makes it kind of nice. So the way a satin stitch works, y'all, I was doing letter banner and the edges. Okay. Like I said, we can work on it on a live for you if you'd like. So thanks for the join in, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. So as you see, it's running around. It's running around that stitch, and it's going to do a satin stitch. So the way a satin stitch works is it'll go and do like a zigzag all the way around to get that fabric set down into the fabric. So then it comes back in after it's done that zigzag all the way around, and then it starts with that satin stitch. So now it's going to start doing that satin stitch, and the satin stitch is more or less kind of, oh my gosh, the variegated is awesome. But the satin stitch, what it does is it kind of pops it up, and it gives it that smooth look. It gives it a smooth look on there, and y'all, this is kind of cool. The variegated is awesome on it. So I think it's perfect. It's like almost like the colors of the pine cones and stuff. So it's gonna look cool. It will look cool on there. So it'll run around there. Once it does that, then I'll show you how we do the back. Like I said, I do the back a little different. So thank y'all for joining over on YT, y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out on YT because I'm on both platforms, just as an FYI, y'all. Thanks for the likes, y'all. Thank you. I appreciate it. And y'all, we're at 16K taps this morning. We're at 16K taps this morning, y'all. Thank you. You're on both platforms watching, Karen. Nice. Very cool. And y'all, we've got 3 of my 5 on my gold today. I was like, you know what? That little snail is cute. So we get 2 more, I'll change that. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, if you do both platforms, it's kind of cool. Both platforms is cool. We're over there chatting on YT too, y'all. We are over there chatting on YT. Thanks for hanging out, Miss Linda. Thank you for joining. I appreciate y'all joining. We're going to get this satin stitch on there. It takes a little bit to do that satin stitch because it actually goes in. And while it's running, let me show. I'm going to come back this way. We're going to kind of explain what we're making today. So we are doing Mugrugs. Let me show you the one that we just did. So the one that we just did was, we just did this chicken one. How fun is that? So right now it is going around and it's doing this satin stitch. Granted, that one's a circle. Doesn't matter. They all kind of stitch out the same. So it's going around and it's doing that satin stitch on there. And then what it does is it'll go around and it does a stitch around the outside of that satin stitch, and then it'll do a stitch around the inside of that satin stitch. And then after that, it comes around and it does that stitch. But then we add, like I said, I do it a little differently. They have a little different on how it's done. So I go and I add a back thing to the back of mine. It's just my preference. It's how I do it. So as soon as it gets done doing all those stitches, I'll show y'all how, and you can really see it on this one. You can really see it on this one. This is a bigger one, but you can see that it's done with it just folds inside out. So I'll show y'all how that's done. But yeah, right now it's currently working. Thanks for the follow, Miss Patty. I appreciate it. So it's working on that satin stitch as it goes around. So, and just as an FYI, anybody that is on here, y'all get to choose what you want to do on live. Everything we do on the lives is y'all's choice. Y'all's choice. Every once in a while, I'll throw something in there. I wonder if you can slip resistant fabric on the back. Possibly, Tammy. Possibly. Thanks for the follow, Monica. Thank you. Thank you. Possibly you could do that. That's totally possible. There's no, it's endless. Once you start doing these, you're like, well, I wonder what happens if I do this. I wonder what happens if we do this. There's so many different things. So, and y'all, if you don't have an embroidery machine, that's okay. You can still make Mugrugs. Where's my, hold on, let me see if I can find my Mugrug that we did last week. Hold on. I think it's over here. I want to show you. So if you don't have an embroidery machine, you can still do Mugrugs. So this Mugrug we did last week in the machine. So I quilted all of this. By hand. And then we took and did a double blanket stitch. Y'all, when y'all get to know me, you're going to realize if you're new to me, the double blanket stitch is my go-to stitch for everything. I love the double blanket stitch. So, but anyways, so you can see that double blanket stitch actually stitches it down and gets rid of that raw edge. So then I did a decorative stitch around it, but y'all, I did that back. It's like literally the go-to thing for me. It looks wonderful. I like the way it looks, and it gives, I don't know, it just gives it a left. Sorry to ask, what did you say the name of your Quattro 2, Miss Connie? Good morning, Miss Susan. Can the blanket stitch be done on a bull koozie? Possibly, but when you go around the outside edges, we could try it and see. How are you, Miss Susan? Your package is en route. I don't know. I shipped at UPS, and I don't know. I'll check. Hold on. Let me check right quick. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna check her shipping right quick if you don't mind. She has a quilt that she ordered for her 50th anniversary, y'all. 50th anniversary, which is the most awesome thing. I am so excited for her to have that 50th anniversary quilt. So. Good morning, Carrie. Thanks for joining. A fellow Carrie. I'm a Carrie. Very cool. Very cool. So, packages in transit. Let me check. So, tracking. Let's see. Expected. Oh my gosh. Miss Susan, it says expected today. It says expected today. I'm excited for you. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. She's going to get her quilt today. I'm excited. Y'all, yesterday it said, I know, right, Susan? I hope you're ready to get your quilt. Right? Y'all, wish Miss Susan a happy 50th anniversary. We just do not have 50th anniversaries anymore. So, actually, you know what? Today is my anniversary. 31 years, y'all. 31 years. Can you show how to do quilt from beginning to the end for a beginner? Absolutely, Miss Anna. Absolutely. We can totally do a quilt from beginning to end, because I actually have another quilt to make for Miss Amy. So we can actually do that quilt on live. So actually, we can add that for next day. They're saying happy anniversary over here on the YT, Miss Susan. So yay, that is so, I'm excited. Miss Susan, you got to let me know when you get it. So if Miss Amy's on here, your quilt is showing up tomorrow. 20 more years, and I get an anniversary for 50 years. Divorce, Miss Nancy. Well, I'm sorry. So, well, thank you. Yes, 31 years, y'all. I've been married 31 years. How is that possible? I don't even know how that's possible, y'all. So, anyway, so thank you. So, You're not sorry. Okay, as long as you're not sorry, Miss Nancy. You know, and sometimes it just doesn't work. It's okay. You've been 35 years. Awesome, Bonnie. Awesome. Thank you, Claire. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for joining. So we are running, let's go back over to this embroidery, y'all. Let's go back over to the embroidery. So we are running so we have 2 more stitches to run. It's going to run, and y'all, wait till you see that. Oh my God, it's exciting. So I'm excited. So it's gonna run a stitch on the inside and then a stitch on the outside, and then we'll run that other one, and then we'll add those 2 pieces of fabric on there. So good morning, Miss Debbie. Good morning. Hey, Miss Debbie, did your ladies like the Mugrugs that I sent you? You have to let me know. Good morning. Good morning. We're gonna run that stitch, and then we have 1 more stitch, and then we'll add that last stitch, y'all. Then we'll add that last stitch. I gotta get a couple pieces of fabric. I'm thinking. I was married 52 years when my husband passed away. Oh, Bessie. Only have the cow left, and they went like hotcakes. Awesome, Debbie. I'm so glad they liked them. I am so glad they liked them. You know, it's funny, Miss Debbie, because they got to the point when I was doing lives like yours. Everybody came for my gift. Everybody came for my gift. It was kind of funny. Kind of funny. We have 1 more stitch here, and then we will add the pieces. So I'm taking so once it gets done with this stitch, what I've done is I've taken a 10-inch square and I've folded it in half and pressed it. So I've got 2 of those. So this is how we're going to add that back. This is how we're going to add that back on there. Thank you for the taps, y'all. Thanks for the taps. Thank you, thank you. And thank you over on YT. Y'all, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited for y'all to be there. So thank you, thank you. I said we've had more people on YT today than I've ever had. So I appreciate y'all hanging out with us. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us. So we're going to do that final stitch around here. I'm excited for the chipmunk, y'all. I'm excited. This chipmunk's going to be cute. This is going to be a cute chipmunk here, y'all. So we're going to run that stitch in there. Once that one's done, then, like I said, I do this a little differently than they say. So we're going to swap back over to that first stitch again. He is cute. Cute, cute, cute. Miss Carrie is the chipmunk. It is a transfer, Miss Amy. It is a transfer. So, okay. So now I'm going to take, so the fold is right here. So I'm going to take that fold and I'm going to put it right there. And then we have the other fold on this one. So I'm going to take and I'm going to turn it this way. You want to make sure that it goes past your quilt, your design on there. You want to make sure it goes past that design. I'm pretty sure this one goes this way. So this is where that tape comes into play. I'm going to take out a piece of tape, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be right on this one. So some of them go this way, some of them go back that way, but I'm pretty sure this one goes this way. So I'm going to put a piece of tape, and it's just medical paper tape, y'all. And the reason I do that is when this, when it goes, and it's going to go this way. So when it stitches, you'll see. So it's going to stitch around this way, and it's going to come down. So this fabric is this way, so it's going to come down over that right there, and that's not no issue. The issue comes to play when it comes back up this way, because if it comes back up this way, what will happen is if I don't put that piece of tape, it'll actually pop up that piece of fabric, and then you'll have an issue there. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to run it twice. I'm going to run it twice. That way it just gets that extra step there. So I'm going to drop that and I'm going to run that again. That way it stays. And that way when we turn it inside out, we won't have an issue on it. So like I said, I just run them a couple extra times. So you run all the way through. I skipped that 11th step, or the 10th step on this one. I skip that last step on it, and then I go run 1 and 2 again. When you run 1 and 2 again, it holds down the 2 pieces of fabric that I use to finalize my Mugrugs. So it's just how I do it. Everybody does it differently. You can do it exactly step by step for the instructions that they give you. I just change them up a little bit. So just my preference. Just my preference on there. So. Oh, you're very welcome, Brittany, and thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I don't know. I was telling my my people, because like I said, I'm a director of IT, and yesterday I was giving training to my admins yesterday. So I was training them on how to do something, and while I was doing that, I have so much fun. Joanne, it's a juju. It's a juju. But if you go to my tree, and you can get to my tree if you go over to my YT. So I can't put the tree in here anymore because when I did, I kept getting restrictions, so they don't allow me to put it there anymore. So I had to put it over on my YT. So hopefully I didn't confuse you by just what I said. So anyways, so we're gonna put that there. So we put tape on here. We put tape on here. So the tape, y'all, is just it's paper tape. So I pull this off. It just pulls right off. It's just medical paper tape, y'all. It's what I use is medical paper tape. So take that off there. Take that off there. And then we go do the same one on the other one here. So take that one. Oh, I only had tape on one side on this one. Tape on one side of this one. So then we're going to trim around. Then we're going to trim around. Let's see this way. Oh, there they are. So iron's on. So now we're going to trim around and just about 1/4 inch from it. Just about 1/4 inch from it. So we're going to trim around and make sure you don't cut that seam. Make sure you don't cut the seam on there. We're going to trim around. Once we get trimmed around, we'll go ahead and press it with an iron. Well, we'll turn it right side out first and then press it with an iron. Trim. Like I said, this is how I do them. You do not have to do them this way. You can literally follow the instructions of the design. So, and it still works good too. So, but this is just how I do it. Just my personal preference. Like I said, I've been sewing and quilting for years, and this is just how I've found that I like to do it. So, okay. So now you have that flap. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your thumb, you're going to push it in like this, and then you're going to push out those edges. Push out the edges like that. And then you have your other side. So then we're going to flip those out too. Flip those out. Interesting. And you don't have to have transfers. You don't have to have the transfers, but let's go over here and we're going to press this with the iron. We're going to press it. Oh my gosh, I'm in love with him. He is cute. Cute, cute, cute. I'm going to come back this way. Yeah. There's a lip on my floor. So I'm in a 5th wheel if anybody doesn't realize that. I am in a 5th wheel, and on the bottom of the 5th wheel is there's like holes to put the tape, because I'm in the toy hauler. So there's like a place to put like a table in here that you could actually sit at. So every once in a while I pull that thing over and it like, hey, guess what? We're gonna flop over. Press that this way. Grab. I have it. Yeah. So I put my name on these. I figure beans, I'm already on this side. We'll put the name on there right quick. That off. And then you always want to press with another piece of fabric on there. This is the bow we did yesterday. So now we're going to turn him over and we're going to give him a press on this side too. Give him a press on this side too. You always want to put a piece of fabric over that transfer. If you don't put a piece of fabric over that transfer, you take a chance on melting into your iron. You don't want to melt onto the iron. So, y'all, he is cute. He is cute, cute, cute. I am excited. Check him out and look. Is that not fun? Fun, y'all. So y'all, we have accomplished 2 Mugrugs today. We have done 2 Mugrugs today. What do you think? What do you think, y'all? Right? Is that not fun? I'm excited. But yeah, these are jujus. These are jujus, y'all. You can do them the same way I did. Thanks for the follow, y'all. How fast was that? Right? Thank you, y'all. Thank you all. So if you want the designs, thanks for the follows. Like I said, Miss Amy, your quilt's gonna be there tomorrow. Your quilt's gonna be there tomorrow. Yes, Cynthia, that's where these come from. Yes, embroidery designs is on, right, Tammy. Yeah, I just looked and I'm pretty sure it says tomorrow, Miss Amy. So I'm excited. Can you send me a picture? Because I forgot to take a picture of it. So like, buy one on me. No. So, but anyways, so these are kind of fun. They are fun to make. And like I said, you can make so many different sizes. There's so many different sizes that you can make. Where's the small one? There he is. So y'all, it goes from, you have like little bitty ones, because this is like a little bitty, he's like a 4-inch one. You could make it a little smaller, you can. So thank you, Miss Amy. So you have a small one. The gingham on the chick is so right. Is that not cute? Love this one. So I don't know if I had gingham fabric. I don't know if I had gingham, but anyways, so this one turned out cool, right? Isn't he cute? I love Wilbur. Wilbur's fun. And I think, was it you? Somebody was asking me to do Wilbur on a rope bowl. Wilbur on a rope bowl. So anyways, so then we did this one. There's so many different opportunities that you can do with these Mugrugs. So many different opportunities. So fun, y'all. But yeah, that's just my preference on how I finish them. You can follow the design instructions and do them your own way, however you want to do it. So, but right, I know I'm excited, y'all. So the company that's digitizing for me, I'm excited. So as soon as I get the design, and as long as thank you, D Smith, thank you. As long as it's good, we may look at that. So, but so somebody asked for next week, asked if I could do a from start to finish quilt. Absolutely. So I'm almost thinking, because we don't have a set schedule for next week. What if we did that next week? Y'all? How about Monday we piece it. Tuesday we sandwich and quilt it. Wednesday we yes, we're your heart quilt, Miss Amy. What are the lady designs? Send me a message, Miss Mandy, and I can show you. They are on E. They're the cutest things. I love them. So Monday we piece it. Tuesday we sandwich and we quilt it. Wednesday we bind it. You are very welcome, Miss Amy. Yes, send me a message if you want to know. And we can go through the whole process of making that quilt. Yes, send me a message. So yeah, how about next week we do that? Okay, next week we are going to make a quilt. And the quilt, and I just got the jelly rolls in, Miss Amy. So you like the idea? All right, cool. Next week we're going to do a quilt. Why not, right? Why not? So Monday we piece. Tuesday, well, as long as we get it all pieced, which I think we should be able to. We'll see what happens. Tuesday, we'll either continue piecing and then start sandwiching the quilt. I'll show y'all how to sandwich a quilt. Wednesday, if we get it all quilted, we'll go on to binding. We'll get that quilt done next week. The quilt will be done next week. So, and I'm going to do the whole process. I will not do anything off the live. I will make sure we do the whole process during the whole live. So, and this is an order, y'all. This is an order for Miss Amy. One of the Amy's on here, Amy P. We're going to say Amy P. So this is her. So she ordered a quilt for her mother-in-law, and then she's like, I can't do a quilt for my mother-in-law without doing one for my mother. Well, of course she can. So the one she's doing for her mother is, oh my gosh, I'm in love with it. But I really loved the chicken one. So the chicken one, I don't know if y'all saw the chicken one. The chicken one was for her. So But the next one where we're doing is, oh my gosh, wait till y'all see the fabric that we were doing for that one. So, but as a sneak peek, I got, hold on, I got to show you a sneak peek. Amy, I'm going to do her some Mugrugs. These are the hearts. So I got some transfers to make her a Mugrug, Miss Amy. So these are the hearts that we're going to be, right? I'm excited. So I am excited. So, and the fabric that we got to go around them is just gorgeous, like bright popping fabric. So next week, thank you, Amy. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming to me to make your quilts. I appreciate that. So yeah, so that's, we got next week's schedule down. We have next week's schedule down. So we're going to leave all week for quilting. We're going to leave all week for making that quilt, y'all. So we'll kind of play it by ear. We'll kind of play it by ear. I try to make everything special for y'all. So I try. So, all right. Again, thanks for hanging out. Where is the ones? Okay, here's the ones we made today. So I appreciate y'all hanging out and making Mugrugs with us. I will see y'all tomorrow. If you want to come hang out tomorrow, y'all, we are going to be making a quilted handbag with vinyl on the bottom. We are going to add pockets to that quilted handbag. I am going to show y'all how to put a zipper on a bag in the hoop, y'all. In the hoop. We're going to put that zipper in the hoop on there. And then we'll take it back out of the hoop. 4:30, Miss Amy. I am on at 4:30 Mountain Standard Time, Arizona. So it is currently almost 6:30. So so whatever time, where are you at, Miss Amy? Because and my schedule is posted in my bio. Over on YT, I do post a video of my schedule, so that way y'all can see it. Ohio. So I know we got all kinds of Amy's here. This is awesome. I love my Amy's. So so I think you're 2 hours ahead of me. So like I said, it's 6:30 here, Miss Amy. So Ohio 6:30. So yes. So at 6:30, Miss Amy in Ohio is when I go on. So, but yeah, I will see y'all tomorrow morning. And y'all, thanks for all the new follows. Thanks for all the hanging out. And thanks for all the fun. We have so much fun. Awesome, Miss Amy. I look forward to seeing y'all on the live. So like I said, these are all fun instructional videos, and y'all can ask all the questions you want and hang out and have coffee. With us. So thank y'all again, and see y'all tomorrow. Bye, guys.